This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Okay, let's go. I know Mike is in has a time crunch here. So we're all set? I'd like to convene the Board of Fire Commission meeting for Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. I'd like everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So this evening we have Michael Friede here to officiate over the election of officers for the Board of Fire Commissioners. Michael, please. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And for those watching on North Haven TV, this is the time of year, every 2 years after an election cycle, that North Haven's first selectman has to go to all the boards and commissions throughout the town. The elected boards and commissions and the appointed boards. From here as an example, I'll be going over to the police commission meeting. I have 3 orders of business tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and those 3 orders of business are to ask for nominations for the chair of this commission, to ask for a nomination for the vice chair, and to ask for a nomination for the secretary. So without further ado, I'd like to start that process, and I'd like to first ask for a nomination for chairperson of this fire commission.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Pasquale Mazzolillo as the chairman of the commission.
All right, we have a nomination. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Are there any other nominations? Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Mr. Chairman, congratulations.
Thank you.
for your
Thank you,
service.
Mike.
Second order of business is to ask for a nomination for the vice chair of our fire commission. Is there a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Vin Gallo for vice chairman of our
All
commission.
right. We have a nomination for Mr. Gallo. Is there a second for that nomination?
Second?
We have a second, Mr. Mazzolillo. Are there any other nominations? Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Mr. Gallo, thank you for your service. Congratulations. And lastly, my last order of business this evening is to ask for a nomination for the secretary of this commission. Is there a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mary J. Mulligan as secretary of the Board of Fire Commission.
All right, we have a nomination for Mary J. Mulligan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any other nomination? Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call for that vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Mary Jane, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Mrs. Caldwell, Ms. Brown, thank you very much for your service. We appreciate you being on this commission. I'd like to thank our esteemed chief here for all the hard work he does every day. I talk to him every day. I know exactly what he does. And we can't forget this young lady over here, Yvonne Zielinski. Thank you for all your years of dedicated service. Thank you, Yvonne. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm off to my next meeting, the police commission meeting. So have a good meeting.
Mike, thanks very much. Have a happy holiday to you and your family.
Thank you.
And a happy, healthy New Year, Mike. Stay in good health. Thank you for everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
Okay. Mary Jane? Oh, no, thank you. Jenny? Happy holidays. Pat?
Looks like cigars.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
They look like cigars.
Smoking cigars now.
You're
Thank
smoking
you.
cigars now.
Chief, I'll be talking to you.
Next.
Take care.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good evening. Thank you, fellow commissioners, for the confidence to select me once again as chair of this commission. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. I'd like to ask for the approval of the minutes from the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Fire Commission held on November 28, 2023.
So moved.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Second, I need a second.
I'm sorry, a second. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The chief's report.
Good evening, all. I'll start with alarms, as we normally do. As of this time, we're at 4,663 alarms. At this time last year, we were at 5,015, so there's some difference, but not a significant difference. Our last Board of Fire Commission meeting was not that long ago, only on November 28th. So these numbers I'm going to provide now are going to cover a time period of November 28th until December 18th. So since that time, we provided ALS interceptor transport on 6 different occasions. We had 17 incident responses to the highway, 87 incidents in which just an ambulance provided service and there was no need for a fire department asset to respond. And out of 352 incidents, there were 148 in which there were overlapping incidents occurring, which is 42%. That covers our alarms. Regarding the budget, we're going to cover through period 6. Period 6 is not quite complete, although I don't expect a lot of changes between now and the end of the year. So period 6, at this time last year, we were at 50.7%. At present time, we're at 45.6%. Our fire fees collected through the end of period 5 is just under $246,000, and our ALS billing through the end of period 5 is just over $49,000. Impacting our budget still at this time, we had one member who was on sick leave and just returned this past week. They were on sick leave from April 28th all the way up until this past week, and so that was an unplanned absence and a long-term absence. We had one member who was on military leave for almost the last 2 consecutive years, minus a few weeks there, and we're glad to report that that member just returned to duty. So we have one vacancy at this time, and it is one of the vacancies that we carry on a shift to run down and to help out with some of the overtime savings, and so that position remains unfilled at this time, although we're working more on that soon. We're working to fill that. That's the budget. Regarding the fire marshal's office, you were sent a report in your packet. A few things at the fire marshal's office that are worth mentioning. You see on the November of 2023, you see there's a pickup in mercantile and general business inspections that occurred in November. That's primarily due to Black Friday. I can assure you that's carried through as we sit here today in December in some of the mercantile stores as well in the holiday season. We don't count every time we walk through as an inspection. These are formalized inspections. These aren't just kind of walking through and checking. For example, on Saturday night at about 9 o'clock, I walked through one of our businesses in town that are reported to have some trouble. That doesn't count as an inspection. That's just simply kind of a walkthrough, kind of keep an eye on things. Those were happening all the time. You'll see in here assemblies and churches. We are starting, and we have for some time, an aggressive push with some of the churches. We have a lot of churches in town. It's somewhere around 12 to 15 churches. And so we've been working with them pretty diligently on some safety and security that's coming out from the feds in terms of how to secure those properties in light of what's going on. We did have one arrest warrant that we pursued in the last month. We had 6 different plan reviews and 51 permits, and the arrest warrant was due to a rather significant arson fire. On to the fires in November. You'll see November was a pretty busy month. 22 different fires in the course of November. This ranged from several car fires, an arson fire at a large business in town, some Carol's Cooking fires associated with Thanksgiving, and you can see some various other ones in there. And that's what I have for the fire marshal's report. Otherwise, a few other things. We continue to monitor right now for ambulances in town. So while we do have a contract that we just renewed with Nelson Ambulance, and it is working out great. The level of service provided by Nelson Ambulance is fantastic. We track their numbers, and they're doing a good job. The problem is there are some surrounding towns that don't have the level of service from their ambulance provider that we do, and so they are constantly having to call Nelson Ambulance for assistance. From a statutory standpoint, we cannot keep ambulances that are assigned to North Haven in North Haven. If they are called to a 911 call in another municipality, they need to respond. It's a state statute. We're allowed to keep back one ambulance for our taxpayers, and our one ambulance is our rescue. So we can potentially lose all the Nelson ambulances that are serving North Haven to other municipalities that are not staffed appropriately with ambulances. That seems, we've been watching it. You can go back as recently as 18 months, 2 years ago, and you can find some articles and some papers for some ambulance shortages. I think there's even a senator out there that's calling some of the areas in the state EMS wastelands and EMS deserts because there's such a problem right now with ambulances. It's something we're watching, but I do see it happening more and more now where there's a bigger reliance on Nelson Ambulance to respond to other communities, and they're doing what they can, but it's just something we have to keep an eye on. Other than that, I have some budget information that I can share with you under new business, and that's what I have for a report.
Any questions of the chief regarding his report?
I have a question on the inspection and task reports. What is the difference between the grouping that has passed and the grouping that is completed as for the status?
So one is associated with, I'm trying to see if I can find an example here for you. There's 560, 410. So tasks are, if we go out to the property, the best way to describe it is, and I've tried to explain this for those that don't understand how the fire marshal becomes involved in some of these buildings, is tasks are visits to the property to look at one particular component, but it may not be ready yet to be inspected. For example, let's say a hood system. A hood system, when we check a hood system, there's a lot of different companies that need to be present, from the fire suppression system to the oven itself, to the hood installer, to the suppression system. And so all those companies need to be present. That hood needs to get tested. We need to make sure it works. If something goes wrong, there's a scheduling issue, whatever, that may be counted as a task because we went, the inspection wasn't completed, but we went there for that particular reason. It's probably the best way to describe it. There could be multiple tasks associated with the property, as you see, like 184 Elm Street is one that's listed. So we went there several times to do something, and then perhaps in that particular case it wasn't closed out, but you can see up top a hood system inspection was completed. But you can see how many different times we may have had to have gone to that address until that was done.
So the tasks are the things that you do in order to get to
The
whether
inspection.
something passes or fails.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that's part of the thing is you know, a building being built may require 5 different inspections, but we're not going to be there far more than 5 times. We're going to be there perhaps dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen times trying to get them to the point where it finally passes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions of the chief regarding his report? Hearing none, we'll ask, as far as his correspondence is concerned, I did pass along to each of the commissioners the correspondence that I received from the chief. This was a letter from the chief to me outlining what he discussed with us at the previous meeting last month. Was an overview of the needs of the department for all of us to digest and have a clear understanding of. Chief, did you want to make any other comments regarding?
No, I just think it's important that and I'm glad that you shared it with the commissioners. It's important to me to get a few facts on paper and to disclose and to make the commission aware of what I'm going to refer to as the state of the department. The letter, I think, speaks for itself.
So please be kind enough at your convenience to read through, highlight, and we can certainly discuss any comments or concerns that you have at our next meeting. But Chief, thank you for this extensive overview of the state of the department. I really appreciated it, and I took a good amount of time to read through. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have one other correspondence. It's a resignation letter from a volunteer that I can share with the commission. And that's the only other correspondence I've received other than a regular day-to-day correspondence.
Thank you. Any other commissioners receive any correspondence? Old business for the Board of Fire Commission.
Sure, so old business, I got a couple of items for you. Our apparatus repairs are ongoing. We continue to struggle with the fleet that we have and keeping it in service. I will share this with you. I've shared this with you in the past. You're welcome to take a look at it. So we keep up with this on a monthly basis. Again, the pink is going to be an apparatus that was out of service, and you can see in some cases that we will have 3-4 apparatus out of service on any given day. And when our fleet is only 8 to 10 deep, you can see that we struggle quite often to maintain enough suppression apparatus on the road to take care of not only a structure fire, but to take care of multiple incidents occurring. And that includes our ability to call back staff. If I don't have enough apparatus available, then if we do catch a fire and we need to call back for staff, I have no apparatus to put staff in. And so it's something we need to continue to watch. We cannot take delivery of these 2 engines that we ordered quite some time ago soon enough. We are still anticipating them to arrive in May of 2024, and so we're looking forward to that. And then the only other item I have for old business is for the Commission's awareness. We are still incurring $3,000 a month expense for the leased engine. I'm afraid we're not going to be able to terminate that lease until the arrival of the 2 new apparatus in May. And if you look at that spreadsheet, that'll justify as to why. If we were down 1 additional apparatus as well, we would really be in rough shape.
When the apparatus are out of service, is it because of inspection? Is it because they're breaking down?
Because they're breaking down.
Okay.
Yeah. They're out for inspection for a very short time because it's really a DOT engine check and then the pump. And so the inspection itself doesn't take long. It's usually a day. It's the repairs after the fact, subsequent to the inspection, and then the repairs are just occurring because of wear and tear on the vehicles.
Anything else under old business? Pat, did you want to report on
My project?
your project, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm going to pass out the bio package for each one of you. No, and I just pass them, you're on top, just go to the left. Okay. Please, this goes to the chief. And Yvonne, this is for you. So
Look at that picture.
are you laughing about something over there? You
Just
left your
The
print.
full-size picture.
just my full-
Well, I couldn't get it smaller, but the consultant said she could handle
Something
it.
about the head.
my big head.
So anyway, last month I received photos and bio information from the commissioners, and I put the whole package together and I sent it off to the consultant for her, I guess, packaging of it on our website. It's not there yet, but I think she's doing a shell, isn't she? She's running a parallel? Okay. So this was fun. I learned a lot about all of you. So, and one of the issues that I have been trying to figure out what's fair is how are people supposed to contact us? And I know the chief has been at the mercy of my tests on the old email address that I didn't find worked when I tried my Gmail account. I asked Commissioner Caldwell if she would check it. Hers went through, but I think yours was with maybe Outlook.
Outlook, it forced me to open up an Outlook account. And then I was able to send something.
And the chief did receive that one. So I have talked with the consultant, asked her about other fire departments in terms of contacting the commissioners. I've also talked with the IT person, Alex, here in town. And on the second page, it's what I passed on to you. There's a section on the Board of Fire Commissioners at the top. We have 5 names listed. That's how it appears on the website only. And then there was the email address that I didn't find worked. So I'm recommending that we do a drop down. That would be the first section on the left side below the listing. So you click on something, and we can define that in a minute, look at it. And if you clicked on, for instance, my name, then this format would drop down where my name is listed, the email, and any comments I might have or receive from someone. And then I gave a sample of what it would look like based on the consultant's draft format for our drop-down on the website. And since it doesn't seem that we're going to get town email accounts, on the last sheet, I put together a suggested email format for the commissioners to have emails, personal emails, but they're separate from the regular emails that we already, or accounts that we already have. So
I think doing a Gmail account that's specifically for just commission emails is a really good idea, because anything ever gets FOI'd, the FOI commission then doesn't go into your personal email. And that's the big concern about sending emails from your personal account, is that you open yourself up, your personal emails up. So I think, personally, I think that's a good idea.
Pat, you had mentioned some concern about emails being on the website. And if you look at the bottom of your bios, where it says to contact Commissioner X, you could have the dummy email that I created as a real one, or you can have a little icon, an envelope icon that you click, and then the drop down falls and you have access to, or the public has access to send an email to us.
Well, I think this is certainly a workaround as far as the town not being willing to allow us to have a email address that is sponsored by the town. I will take this under consideration. I'll need to make sure that we're okay as far as the town attorney is concerned or whatever, based on the previous conversations that I've had with Mike Frieder's office, and I'll report back to you next month.
So, do you know what, I heard from another board member about emails for this other board, and they were told just recently that their email has been shut down based on the town attorney's recommendation. It's a legal basis. Do you know what the legal basis might be?
I don't know. I understood that to be the reason as well, but I did not get a legal interpretation as to why. My further understanding is that the email addresses were allowed during COVID, and once all that was done with, they were dissolving all of the email addresses for boards and commissions. And I think maybe the Board of Finance still has theirs, and it's coming to an end, is what my understanding is.
Yes,
Well,
I think that's true.
I think the Board of Finance is coming to an end, but it couldn't have been COVID because Pat had an email through
Yeah.
the Board of Finance.
Yeah.
That's what I was told. But I will check with the First Selectman's office to make sure that the town attorney won't have any difficulty with this. And I'll report back to you.
Okay, and if for some reason the town attorney has an issue with it, it would be helpful to know
What the reason
what
is.
the reasoning
I
is.
got it.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
So the idea is that there's a link that you click on for the public,
Yep.
drop down form to fill out, addressing it to a specific commissioner, and that comes to one of these accounts that will be set up, possibly.
I understand it, thank you.
And also, the Board of Ed does have email accounts listed on the website.
No, they definitely have their own email accounts that are specifically through the school district.
So, which is a separate entity from the town?
Yeah, it's managed, you know, through the school district, and they encourage board members, and I know this because I was on the board, they don't want you using your personal email to email people because of that whole FOI issue.
Sure, sure. Okay. Again, I'll get back to you
Yeah.
once I have some communication with the selectman's office.
Okay.
But thank you for your effort, Pat. It looks very nice, very professional, very well done.
Would
Thank
you
you.
like your photo?
This was a work photo that I don't know where it came from, but it certainly isn't anywhere close as large as this.
Well, you look very happy in that
I
photo.
was happy, very happy. I was happy. Always happy at work.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you. Any other old business for the fire department? Hearing none, we'll address new business.
I don't really have any new business. The only thing I wanted to remind the commissioners of is the fire department workshop, which remains scheduled for Saturday, January 13th at 9:15 in the morning. In addition to that, I provided the budget proposal that I have submitted at this time. The narratives are provided to you right now as they stand, and the spreadsheet, which is essentially page 28 of the town budget that I just put in a spreadsheet so that I can keep track of it better, rather than handwrite it, but that's in the same order, same exact lines as what you would see in the town budget if you look up the fire department.
That's this.
Yep, same thing. I just do it so I can keep track of things. And so that's what has been proposed so far. You'll see capital on the back side of the narrative, which I provided to you, and
Quick
We'll see.
question with the, I know when you look at the budget packets that they show, and they do this with all the departments, there's what was requested, what actually got budgeted.
so it's actual budget, estimated expense. Those are the same headings if you look at a budget.
So actual budget, so this is, but it doesn't have what was requested here, right?
I don't think it ever shows what's requested. I don't think that stays with the town budget.
It's only in
It's
the
only in
draft
my-
documents when you're first, when they're first presenting
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that gets scrubbed 2 or 3 times prior to the end. Is that correct?
At least.
At least.
Yes, please.
Hey, Pat, you can probably speak to that
That-
better
that is
than any of
correct.
us.
There are different versions across town,
Yes.
and they're dated on the front page.
Thanks for putting this together, Chief.
Yep. So there'll be a workshop presentation in January, and we can go over particularly the narrative in detail.
And hopefully, Commissioners, your schedule will permit to attend the meeting. Jen,
Yep,
if you would be kind enough to join
yep.
myself and the Chief, that would be appreciated.
The contract, I believe, today was,
It was
Voted
voted
on.
on.
So once it's voted on, can we get copies of it? Once-
Yeah, sure. As soon as I get copies myself, I'll provide it to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Anything else under new business?
No, I don't have anything.
Anything for the good of the department?
So we've got a couple of lists that you may have caught wind of in terms of hiring. So we tried for any laterals. Again, those are going to be individuals that are currently on a fire department that would like to move to a different department. We had no lateral applicants at all. So we then moved on to looking for, and laterals would have been EMT or paramedic, not just paramedic. So we had no lateral interest. So we published a paramedic hiring list, and we do have some interest with that. As we've done in the past, we allow to try to open up the candidate pool, we try to take in individuals who may be 3/4 of the way through a paramedic program with a firefighter 1 credential already. It gives us some flexibility in when to send them, he or her, to the academy. So we do have some applicants for that. It looks like it's going to be 6 qualified applicants, and we are aggressively working to test and interview. And I believe you are all notified of a special fire commission meeting soon, and so we'll have the top candidates for you to interview at that time. Hopefully, you'll consider making a conditional offer that evening. The academy starts, I believe, February 13th, February 14th, and we need all of January practically in order to get he or her through the hiring process.
Just looking for one.
At this point, there's only 1 vacancy, yeah, the one that I reported earlier, yeah. Yep. That's what I have for the hiring. Some updates on grants. We were provided the official denial letter from FEMA on the SAFER grant, and we were provided the official denial letter on the AFG grant, which was for radios. So those are both in. We're watching the next grant opening, which is going to be in a couple of weeks, to see if there's an opportunity for us to, particularly in this case, the radios, in terms of equipment, and see if there's any further opportunity. And I do have a meeting scheduled with FEMA soon, where they can give us a high-level overview as to why our applications
That's what I was gonna
may
ask.
have been denied. It's a variety of factors, some of which we have absolutely zero control over. So I will try to find out. I have that interview scheduled next couple of weeks, and I'll try to get more information. Other than that, we have the fire prevention poster contest, which some of the schools were nice enough to have the students provide some posters that we've rated, and we've selected some finalists. I want to thank the 2 volunteer fire associations for providing some monetary awards that we can provide to the students in this case as prizes. And speaking of the volunteer associations, you may have seen them doing their Santa runs over the last couple of days, and then you will certainly over the next week or so. Just can't thank them enough for doing it. While it's association-owned apparatus, they're not always department apparatus. In some cases, I do allow them to use department apparatus because all the volunteers that we have are out doing that, and so it makes sense for them to use an apparatus that if they get a call while they're out, they can respond. Doesn't delay a response that way. The majority of this is being done by volunteers that own their own apparatus that are typically antiques. And nonetheless, it makes the department look good to the public, and we thank them for doing that. The only thing I have to update you on is evacuation drills continue. It's a project we're working on in conjunction with the superintendent's office. So at this point, we've evacuated a drill, which includes taking all the students in school, bringing them to an off-site location, accounting for them, coordinating what pickup might look like, bringing them back. And there's some administration processes that we have to test, accounting for every child, the transportation, those with medical needs, where we're going to put people, that kind of thing. So we've done that now for 3 schools. They've all done very well. I thank the parents in town that are allowing us to drill to that capacity, because when Mr. Sturck and I were talking about this about 18 months ago, we realized that if we needed to evacuate an elementary school, we not only didn't have the buses lined up to do so at all hours of the day, particularly during the school day, we also didn't have, we never trained that way before. We never drilled that way before. And so we're 3 schools down. We have Ridge Road Elementary School left, as well as the high school and middle school that remain. And so I just want to thank the parents for this collective effort, and make sure the commission was aware it was occurring.
So when you're evacuating the school, they're bringing buses in? So what's the like, I guess I have 2 questions. What is the reality of if you had to evacuate a school, how quickly buses would be able to get there? And then the other piece is there has been quite a bit in the, not in the news, but talk about the impact of some of the, drills that kids have had to be put through, and the stress level that it puts on them in terms of like prep. Do you know what they're doing to try to make sure that it's not
Yep. So I don't,
frightening, you know. for
yeah, I don't
the
want to speak too much on the second question in terms of prep. It's being worded as a field trip. It is a field trip. The parents have to sign off on it and allow it. And those parents that don't feel comfortable, those students are staying behind. And so
Okay.
I think they'll probably better off to answer anything further on that. To answer your first question, that's exactly what brought us to these drills. Was up until about a year or two ago, there were no buses that were available throughout the course of the school day to be able to more or less be on call. And so when Patrick Sturrock and I started talking about that, that's exactly the planning that started, was putting enough buses on call throughout the entire day so that we can call upon them if an evacuation is needed, and then where to bring the students to.
Okay.
Rec center.
Yeah, so right now it's the rec center, and that's just because the administrative process of how to account for the children and what to do and you know, that kind of thing doesn't really change no matter where we bring them to. So from a drilling standpoint, that's the site that it's there in the library.
Interesting.
It's all emergency management. Good stuff. Bless you.
Chief, under the good of the department, last month you mentioned that in April, I believe, there was going to be a memorial service. Has that been firmed up?
Yeah, that date's firm. I provided it to you last time. Let me just verify what that was real fast. I want to say it's April 9th. Nope. April 7th. It's a Sunday. The families of both deceased firefighters do plan to attend, and we'll continue as we get into the new year to, I have a couple of commissioners that offered to help with the planning. I thank you, and a few of the firefighters as well.
Very good. Anything else, sir, for the good of the department? See, there's no one here for public comments. I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
You hear a second?
Second.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to reconvene the Tuesday, December 19, 2023 North Haven Fire Commission meeting to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Mulligan to read a couple of motions, please.
I make a motion to promote the following members to the rank of lieutenant within the Northeast Company 4 for a 2-year term: Anthony Minicucci, Robert Kovach, and Con Ritchie, effective January 1st, 2024.
Do I hear a second to the motion?
I second that.
Is there any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
I make a motion to promote the following members to the rank of lieutenant within the West Ridge Company 3 for a 2-year term: Thomas Crilly, Stephen Irons, Vincent Santamaro, and Sarah Barbero, effective January 1st, 2024.
Do I hear a second to the motion?
I second the motion.
Is there any question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? So moved. Our next regularly scheduled Board of Fire Commission meeting will be Tuesday, January 16, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Montauk Company 2 Firehouse at 282 Quinnipiac Avenue. Is there any further business coming before this commission? Hearing none, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy, healthy new year, and we look forward to seeing you in January of 2024. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. This meeting is all in favor. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.